Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Now we are currently in the beautiful state of Maine, enjoying all that it has to offer, and we've been doing some mooch stalking in the city of Portland. And we'll have some upcoming videos of our travels up here, including a quick stay in the White Mountains of New Hampshire, touring the coast south of Portland, and some north of Portland. Seals! Now, because we were coming up here to Maine in mid-May, we figured we'd have some cooler weather, but we got surprised, and there have actually been a few days in the 80s. And because we're mooch stalking, we've been running off the battery and our solar, including our side solar panel, which means this fridge has been struggling a little bit to keep up with those warmer temperatures. So let's talk about some tips that we have to keep it cool and some products that I have bought in the last year that really make a difference. Now, our camper is a 2019, so it comes with the old style fridge. It runs off of propane or electric when we're hooked up at a campground. Many newer campers are now coming with a 12-volt model, but many of the tips and definitely the products that I'm going to show you today all would work in both types of fridges. So tip number one, ice packs. We got these from those online meal services. We just put them in a Ziploc bag. We store them in our garage, and then a few days before we're leaving for a trip, we go ahead and pop them in our freezer. Then they're ready to pre-cool our cooler and our fridge. We do typically leave a couple in the fridge, especially if there's going to be warmer temperatures. Now, our RV freezer is pretty small, so I do keep some smaller ones that I can keep cold in the freezer, and they just kind of cycle out if the temperatures are climbing as well. So the next tip is to keep it clean, especially on our model because it has the vents on the outside of the camper. Taking those off periodically and just using a soft brush on like the end of a vacuum to kind of clean out that space. Especially if you're going down some dirty, sandy, dusty roads, or you keep it in a storage unit like we do. And we also put the little screens on the vents to keep any bugs or wasps or anything that would like to build a nest in there out of our compartment. And for our absorption style fridge, one of the biggest tips is to make sure the camper is level before you start operating the fridge. So the last tip is I try not to treat our RV fridge like our house fridge. What I mean by that is we always know what we want before we open and close the door to this fridge. And the reason is just a quick open, grabbing a few things and closing it can raise this temperature. So the longer you leave that fridge open, the more warm air gets in there, and it works that much harder to get that temperature back down. And we also keep outside in a cooler with some ice, things that we are constantly having to go in this fridge for, and that's mainly the drinks. We find that being able to just grab them out of the cooler, we don't have to worry about going in and out of the fridge, thereby raising the temperature. Now, let's get on to the two products that I have bought in the last year that really make using this RV fridge a lot easier. Now, we have had these Valterra and Camco fridge fans ever since we started RVing about 6 years ago. But the downside is they take D batteries. And that's when I found these. Now, these are rechargeable USB fans, and they're really designed for, kind of beside the bed or on your desk. But I found that they work really well in our fridge. And what I did was I bought two. They last about 12 hours on each charge. So I'll have one charging while the other one is in the fridge, and I just swap them out every morning and every evening. And they do a really good job of moving the air around. And they weren't that expensive. Now, two of them will, there was a little bit more expensive than buying one of those fridge fans, but I no longer have to buy D batteries. And as a side bonus, if it gets a little bit too warm in the camper, we can always use them to cool off. So the second product that you absolutely need for an RV fridge is a thermometer. When we first started out, we used something like this that hangs inside the fridge. But the problem is it hangs inside the fridge. So to check the temperature, I was always having to open and shut the door to see what it was. And I have a really bad habit of not fully shutting that RV fridge door. There have been a trip or two that we've ended up having to throw away an entire fridge full of food because I did not latch it shut to where it clicked. So I have a new product, and I hate to use this word, but I'm going to use this word because it is true in this case. It is a game changer for me. It is this Accurite wireless thermometer system. So it comes with a display unit that you keep on the outside of the fridge, and I hang this on our range hood so I can always see it. Plus it has an alarm, so I can set the minimum temperature that I want and the maximum temperature that I want. So if I leave that fridge door open, this thing will go off. Now it has two little monitors where you can put one inside the fridge and one inside the freezer. Our freezer is really too small to store anything in, so I just use the one that is inside the fridge. So by having this on the outside of the fridge, I can see if it's getting too cold or if it's getting too hot. I can raise or lower the bar that's inside our fridge to kind of control that temperature. So having this really does make using this fridge much easier. Okay, so that is it. If you guys have any other tips, would love to hear them down below in the comments. If you'd like to see some of our upcoming videos of our travels here in Maine, hit that subscribe button. And as always, Desi loves it when you hit that notification bell.